dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom.
So my dear students, today in Standard 7's Geography, we'll be learning the topic winds. Our last chapter in Geography was air pressure, and in that we discussed about the concept of air and the air pressure. Now here in this topic we are going to discuss about the winds and the types of winds, and also about the cyclones. So here we will start now about the winds. We feel the wind but cannot see it, which is very common, very simple, very general thing which we know about the wind, that we feel it but we cannot see it. हमें हवा लगती है, हम बोलते हैं कि हवा बहुत लग रही है, या फिर हम बोलते हैं जब गर्मी होती है कि हवा ही बंद है. हम उसे फील कर सकते हैं जब वो होती है तब भी और जब वो नहीं होती है तब भी, मतलब उसकी कमी हम महसूस करते हैं. बट वी कैनॉट सी इट, हम ये नहीं बताते कि हाँ वहाँ पे हवा है, मैं उसे देख पा रहा हूँ. सो वी फील द विंड बट कैनॉट सी इट. व्हेन सर्टेन ऑब्जेक्ट्स इन आवर सराउंडिंग्स मूव, वी एक्सपीरियंस wind. The movement of air is called wind. Now what is the exact difference between the wind and air? The movement of air is called wind. Whenever air moves from one place to another, then it is called wind. हवा जब एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाती है उसमें movement होती है, then we call it wind. Now the question is there, why does air move? And that we already learnt in the topic air pressure. The movement of air is called wind. Air moves from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure, and this movement of air is the wind. Whenever air moves from high pressure to areas of low pressure, then there is movement in the air, and this movement is called the wind. The horizontal movement of air caused by differences in air pressure. So air moves from high to low. We have learned that the air pressure is not uniform across the Earth's surface, that we already discussed in the last chapter, that is air pressure. And we also learned that air moves from high pressure areas towards low pressure areas in horizontal manner. Winds are generated due to this movement. Here you can see again in the image in detail change in direction of winds. The extent of the difference in the air pressure affects the velocity of the wind. Here now you can see cold, that is high pressure, and how it moves from high to low pressure, and because of this movement we call air as wind. The extent of the difference in the air pressure affects the velocity of the wind, and if there is less difference in the pressure, winds blow with less velocity, and if the difference is greater, then winds blow with greater velocities with pressure difference where it is greater. Wind speed also varies, and wind velocity is measured in the units of knots or kilometers per hour. As you can see here, calm, then 5 knots, then 10 knots, then 15 knots and 20 knots. Wind speed is written in the units of knots, K and T, a nautical speed. Here now again, when we consider the earth as a whole, we find the direction of the winds is influenced by the rotation of the earth, and in the northern hemisphere winds get deflected towards the right of their original direction. Again now here in the image you can see, whereas in the southern hemisphere they get deflected toward the left of their original direction, and this direction has been shown by curved arrows in the figure like this. Here you can see the curved arrows. The rotation from west to east causes this change in the original direction of the winds. So this red one, original direction of air from high pressure to low pressure, but because of its rotation changed direction. This is the original direction, but changed direction due to rotation of the earth. Next thing, figure 5.3 and the questions based on it, which you people can solve. And then the names of winds. Winds are known by the direction from which they blow. For example, westerlies, which are winds that blow from the west. By the name only you can understand. जो वेस्ट से ब्लो होती है उन्हें वेस्टर्लीज कहा जाता है. And the direction of blowing, the duration, the regions covered and the condition of the air determine the following wind types. The direction of blowing, कौन सी दिशा में जा रही है, the duration, कितने टाइम के लिए, the regions covered and the condition of the air determine these three types of winds, that is the planetary winds, local winds and seasonal wind. So in the seasonal winds, local winds and planetary winds, we'll now go in detail about this. Wind energy is an indirect form of solar energy which can be used continuously, unlike solar energy. Wind energy classified in two types, that is planetary winds and local winds. Some winds blow regularly on the earth from high to low pressure belts throughout the year. These winds cover a large portion of the earth, hence these are called planetary winds. The easterlies and the westerlies and the polar winds, the examples of planetary winds. So the most important thing about planetary winds, this type of winds blow regularly and covers a large portion of the earth, that's why it is called planetary winds. And the examples of planetary winds, we have easterlies, westerlies and polar winds. Now the figure 5.3, which is given in our textbook. In both the hemispheres, the winds blow from the high pressure area between 25 degree and 35 parallels. 35 degree parallels. Here you can see, to the equatorial low pressure belt. These arrows you can see. And due to the rotation of the earth, their original direction changes. So in the northern hemisphere, they blow from the northeast to the southwest, whereas in the southern hemisphere, they blow from the southeast to the northwest. Now this is easy to understand when you people study this with the help of given figure. And such type of winds are known as the easterlies. And the same thing about the westerlies. In both the hemispheres, winds blow from the mid-latitudinal high pressure belt to the subpolar low pressure belt situated near 60 degree parallel. Here in between 55 and 65, here and here. Their original direction changes due to the rotation of the earth, and in the southern hemisphere, these winds blow from the northwest to the southeast, and in northern hemisphere, they blow from the southwest to the northeast, and these winds are called westerlies. And this is, or this name is given because of the direction. Now in both the hemispheres, winds blowing from the polar high pressure belt to the subpolar low pressure belt are called polar winds. Generally, this type of winds blow from east to west. Here you can see subpolar, polar easterlies, now the next thing, local winds. The winds that blow for a short duration, of time, originate in specific regions and blow over a limited area are called local winds. Three things which are important about local winds: a short duration, एक तो इनका ड्यूरेशन शॉर्ट होता है, फॉर शॉर्ट टाइम ड्यूरेशन, ओरिजिनेट इन स्पेसिफिक रीजन, किसी पर्टिकुलर रीजन में ही वो तैयार होंगी, और एक लिमिटेड एरिया में ही ब्लो होंगी. सच टाइप ऑफ winds are called local winds. Planetary winds are caused due to the greater heating of Earth's surface near the equator as compared to solar heating near the south and north poles. And now about local winds are caused due to differential heating of land and water in coastal areas. These are also caused due to uneven heating in hills and mountain along the slopes. Basic difference between the planetary winds and the local winds. Here now, secondary or periodic winds, valley and mountain breeze. In our textbook, figure 5.4a of valley breeze and 5.4b of mountain breeze given, and by observing these, you have to write down the characteristics of valley breeze and of characteristics of the mountain breeze given. Mountains cool down quickly at night. Valley zone is comparatively warmer. Air pressure is greater on the mountains. winds blow from the mountain towards the valley. The hot and light air from the valley is pushed upward. Here you can see. And the cool air rushes down into the valley. Mountain winds set in after sunset. Then the next thing, valley breeze occurs in the daytime when air along mountain slopes is heated more intensely than air at the same elevation or a valley floor. So it is an upslope movement. If you observe this figure carefully, you can understand this easily. Warm, 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 and because of this, the movement in the air. Valley and mountain breezes. Daily cycle of airflow occurs with valley and mountain breezes. Convectional circulation caused by differential heating of higher versus lower elevations. So the mountain air cools quickly at night, allowing cooler air to drain down the slope in the evening. Conversely, valley air heats more rapidly during the day, allowing warm air to move upslope during the day. So valley breeze an upslope flow during day, mountain breeze a downslope flow during night. Figure 5.5a of sea breeze and figure 5.5b of land breeze. And here the major local winds in the world. Names are given, nature of the wind also given, and the characteristics and the areas of influence. For your general knowledge, for your general study, you can read this in the textbook and get information about these local winds. Then the next thing, seasonal winds, the last type of the winds which is given in our textbook. Monsoon winds are generated due to the uneven heating of land and water in the different seasons. So during summers, monsoons blow from the sea to the land, and in winter they blow from the land to the sea. Southeast Asia, East Africa, North Australia are the regions where the pronounced effects of these winds which are felt. Here you can see now in the figure, Africa, Asia. The influence of monsoon winds is seen in the summer and winter seasons in the Indian subcontinent. And due to these winds, the Indian subcontinent experiences monsoon or rainy and retreating monsoon seasons apart from summer and winter. So this is now all about the winds. In the next session of this topic, we'll talk about the cyclones, cyclonic storms and anticyclones. Subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications.
So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.